Hi, I'm Justin with akgrinders.com. I'm going to spend just a few minutes showing you how easy it is to actually put your Jiffy sander conversion on your 4x36 sander. This is going to be the initial installation. It's going to take approximately 10 minutes. Once you've done it the first time, it's going to go quite a bit faster. Later, putting it on and off is going to take you about 1 to 2 minutes. So we'll get on it. There's a couple of things you're going to need. You're going to need your Jiffy sander conversion. This is my old prototype unit. You're going to need a drill with a bit that's roughly 5/16. Anything larger than 1/4 inch up to a hair over 5/16 would probably be fine. You're going to want a Sharpie, quick clamp that's large enough to go across the back side of your sander. This one isn't vital, but otherwise it's going to take 3 hands. Last thing is you're going to need 7/16 ratchet and or wrench. You're going to need 2 tools. We'll get going. The first thing you want to do is take off your 4-inch belt. Different sanders have a couple different ways of doing this. A lot of them have a lever on this side. However it is, you need to take the belt off. You're going to want to bring the adjustment down as far as you can, because this is where your tracking and belt tension is going to come from on the 2-inch belt. Take your new belt, and you're going to put it on about where you want it to ride. Clamp it in place. This isn't super critical. If you are within, you can be almost anywhere. The biggest concerns you're going to have is there's going to be a bolt holding this on top and bottom. You want to be able to access the back side of the unit so you can put a wrench on the nut on the back side. Other than that, this isn't real critical. Take your Sharpie, mark it on the top and the bottom so you know where this is going to sit, and this will give you the location for your clamping plate. You're going to grab your clamping plate. I've already got a couple extra holes drilled in here too. You're going to take your clamping plate and you're going to want these holes to bracket the lines that you've just made. So go ahead and set it on here and mark out the location for your holes. Just once again remembering, you want to make sure there's not going to be a brace or anything in the back side of the unit right here that you're going to hit. But for the most part you should be okay. Just look, keep your eyes open. Anyway, mark your holes. Go ahead and drill them out. Once again, these aren't super critical. If you're using a 5/16 bit, there's going to be a little bit of room to move. So if the drill bit walks just slightly or anything like that, you're going to be fine. The clamp plate comes with 2 1/4-20 bolts. So these have a 7/16 head, which is why you have the 2 tools. So we're going to go ahead and install these. This is the slightly fiddly part, but this is something you're only going to have to do one time, because usually this clamp plate will just live on your sander, so it's nice and easy to get your sander conversion off and on in the future. For the most part, you'll probably leave it on because it's a whole lot nicer to use than the original 4x36 was, and you're going to be saving huge amounts of money on belts. We're going to tighten these up until there's just a little bit more than a 1/2 inch clearance between this clamping plate and the side of the grinder. If you're wanting to make sure that your grinder is going to be, your sander is going to be will work adequately with this conversion. The critical point is that you have to have a solid plate here on the side that's 90 degrees from this sanding surface, because this is going to be what the sander conversion is going to mount to. So you have to have a place that you can get a wrench back there that's nice and solid to hold this conversion. Now you're going to put this back on for just a minute. You're going to use your Sharpie and you're going to mark where it sits. Right now we still have the tracking, the tension run down, so once this is tightened up we'll still have plenty of ability to tension this belt. So go ahead and take the belt off, and this is where your two 7/16 tools are going to come in. The reason that I have the lines and the extra holes and things on this is because this is the prototype model. Yours isn't going to be quite so used. And you're going to want these nice and tight. Okay, so this was the more difficult part. This clamp plate is going to stay on here. So now when you want to remove this, you can loosen these two fasteners and take this off, which is going to make this about 30 seconds to a minute to take off and put on as you choose to do that. And the last thing you're going to want to do is you're going to set this belt where it needs to ride along each of the pulley edges, and then pull it over to where it's only sitting on the pulley about a ½ inch. Because we're going to take some tape. When you get these, you'll have a piece of tape wrapped around the back end of this. That has a purpose. You're going to take this tape and you're going to put a couple turns right here on the edge of the belt. The reason we pulled this over a ½ inch, to where it was only on the pulleys about a ½ inch, is because that'll put this tape in about the center of the pulleys. This gives a slight crown on this flat wheel, which makes the tracking go a lot nicer. So this isn't super critical. You're just going to want to have a nice, fairly even ridge for this belt to ride on. The belt's going to want to tend to ride to the center of this because it's going to be the high spot. So at this point, put your belt on. And adjust your tracking out and you're good to go. At this point, your 2-inch belt is going to track and be adjusted just like the 4-inch one was before the conversion. The difference is going to be that with this strip of tape, the belt's going to want to ride to the center just a bit, which makes the tracking a lot less fiddly. You can still steer it to this side or this side to work off of these pulleys, but it's going to want to stay centered a little better. Without the tape, it's going to want to skate around on these. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoy the new toy. Get something done with it. Feel free to post up pictures of anything you're doing, projects you're accomplishing, things you like about it, whatever. Enjoy the rest of your day.